Every great story has a final page, not a sad page, not a bitter page. Just the last one, the page where everything that came before it suddenly makes sense, where you realize how rare it was, how lucky you were to even be reading it. Football's greatest story is almost on that page, and the world is not ready. Two cities separated by an ocean. Rosario's Argentina, Madeira, Portugal. Two boys, to childhoods, to dreams that had no right to become what they became. One grew up too small for the sport he loved. One grew up with nothing at all, and yet, from these two cities, football's entire universe would eventually revolve. Between them, 8 Ballon d'Or awards, over 1,400 career goals, more than 2,500 matches at the highest level of the sport, Champions League titles, World Cup trophies, league titles across 5 different countries. But here is the thing about numbers: they never tell the real story. They never do. What Messi and Ronaldo gave football was not really about football. It was about what they gave to the people watching, to the child in Buenos Aires who believed a boy from a small city could become the greatest player on earth, to the teenager in Lisbon who watched someone refuse every obstacle the world placed before him and understood for the first time that refusal itself was a form of genius, to the father watching with his daughter, the grandfather watching with his grandson, the families scattered across continents who found in these two men something that transcended sport. They did not just give us goals. They gave us permission to believe in something completely. 2004. 2 teenagers arrived at football's door. Nobody fully understood what was beginning. 2008. The rivalry became religion. 2014. Messi's heartbreak in a World Cup final that broke Argentina. 2016. Ronaldo lifted the trophy that made Portugal believe. 2022. Qatar, the greatest World Cup final in history. Argentina versus France. Extra time, penalties, a stadium that could not breathe, and then Messi lifting the trophy he had chased his entire life through tears and disbelief. It was supposed to be the perfect ending. He did not let it be the ending. And then 2026, the last line of the last chapter, the dot at the end of the sentence. Messi lifted the trophy and came back anyway, not satisfied, not comfortable, hungry, training in Miami, playing with urgency that players half his age struggled to match. He chose training over comfort, one more chapter over a perfect ending, as if he knows something about stories that most people forget. The most powerful endings are never the ones that arrive too early. And Ronaldo, at 41, still here, still running, still refusing every obituary the world wrote for him. Because this is who they have always been. Not players who knew when to stop, players who refused to stop until the story itself told them to. And so here we are, 2026, the biggest World Cup in history. 48 nations, 3 countries. A tournament so vast it feels like the sport itself, expanding to hold something that cannot be contained. And at the center of it, somehow, improbably, magnificently, both of them still here, walking out one final time. Not as icons, not as legends, as human beings who loved a game so completely that they gave it everything they had and then came back to give it a little more. The last dance has begun. Watch them carefully, this tournament, not just the goals, not just the results. Watch the moment before the anthem, when they stand still and something crosses their face that no camera has ever quite captured. Watch the way they look at the pitch when they think nobody is watching. Watch what happens in their eyes when the final whistle blows, because they know something we are only beginning to understand. Every moment now is the last of its kind, and they are living it like they know it. 20 years from now, someone will ask, were you there? Did you watch them play? And those who were will pause, because the honest answer will require more than words. It will require them to explain what it felt like to watch two human beings be so extraordinarily, so completely, so impossibly good at something that it felt less like watching sport and more like watching something the human race had never quite managed before. We were lucky, not in a small way, in the kind of way that only becomes clear when something is almost gone. The greatest story football has ever told is on its final pages now. Read them slowly, feel every word, watch every match like it might be the last, because some of them will be. And when it ends, and it will end, we will spend the rest of our lives wishing we had paid more attention, grateful that we were here when it was still being written. Earthian arena, one arena, every battle.
Some players become legends. A few become history. And only the rarest become part of the sky itself.